Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Welcome everyone to Talking Fishing, a big show coming your way tonight, as always, with a special guest joining us on the couch. We'll cover Barra in Hazelwood, some new trout regulations that come into effect this weekend when the start of the trout season commences. Talking of which, there are two big trout festivals on this weekend, details later in the show. We take a look at Port Phillip Bay's new shellfish reefs and plenty of Kramer's Mailbag that will get you fired up. So let's get into it with a big welcome to the man who travels by kayak, Adam Ring. Welcome, Ads.
Thanks, Dave. Hey, it's happened, hasn't it?
What?
The seasons have kicked over.
Wow.
Well, no.
It was 3 degrees when I hopped in the car this morning.
Forget that.
Yeah.
The fish have told us the seasons have turned over.
Oh, absolutely.
Reports of snapper, barrel bluefin are back. There's gummies. You just wait till...
The most important species in Victoria tonight features in Catch of the Week. Don't you worry about that. And it's always a big welcome to the man all the way from Shepparton, Stephen Victor Trelfel. Welcome, Trelly.
Thank you very much, Dave, and pleasure to make it back down here again.
Two in a row.
Yeah, 2 in a row. And my 200th show, I must add.
200th show.
It was your 200th show 2 weeks ago. But I joined
100, mate. Yeah.
Oh, 100, was it?
What happens, though, is actually Trelly sees double every night he's in here, so it's 200 for Trelly.
I was pretty
Trelly, has there been a single thing that's changed in Shepparton over the seasons at all?
The sea officers got a longer queue at the moment. That's all right.
And a warm welcome to our special guest tonight, the CEO, that's Chief Executive Officer of the Victorian Fisheries Authority, Travis Dowling. Welcome, Trav.
G'day, Dave. Great to be here.
Nice shirt.
Thank you. They're new shirts.
How is the new authority? I mean, would I be right in describing the transition from Fisheries Victoria to Victorian Fisheries Authority as seamless?
Oh, look, it's gone really well, and it's a really exciting time. And we've had fantastic support from the minister. Joel has been absolutely right behind us. And for people who love fishing and are involved in fishing, daily, to have a standalone authority that's dedicated towards growing better fishing in Victoria is, it's a really exciting time to be involved.
Are you confused with the old football league, the VFA? Box Hill versus Footscray versus Frankston? Yeah. Anyone getting confused about who the VFA is?
Well, no. Most people still pick up the fishery stuff, and because we send out so many things with fish on them, people are, they're pretty on the ball with it. But I occasionally still refer to ourselves as Fisheries Victoria and get a rap over the knuckles. But no, it's a really exciting time, and I know for some people it's going to be pretty hard to say, well, what's the difference to an authority and a standalone department? But as an authority, we've got a lot of independence to get out there and really work hard on making fishing even better in Victoria.
There you go. It is a good place, and there's no better time. Let's have a look at what's being caught by the people at home, because it's a great time for fishing. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, brought to you by Shimano, providing reliable, trustworthy, quality fishing gear for your enjoyment.
Now, we did mention that around this time last year, in fact, I was looking at the fishing report 2 weeks ago, Ads, and I said the first 10 photos of our fishing report that we put out every week had photos of barrel tuna. Well, guess what? They turned up.
Happened.
Have a look at this. Good mate, Adrian Ryan, ex-Decky on Sharkmen Fishing Charters. Adrian got a beautiful 104 kilo. What's special about this? He's caught plenty of big tuna, but that's the first one off his own boat. And you've got to love that, to achieve that off your own boat.
Remember that.
Adrian's, he's a champion bloke, and to get 104 kilo, just crack that. I know Simon Rinaldi got one the week before that went 100 on the nose, so they're good fish down there, Trav.
It's amazing fishery, and people are travelling all over Australia to now go to Portland and Port Fairy and Warrnambool, and what we're seeing from from the community getting behind fishing down there, it's it is really becoming the new Bermagui of Australia down that place. So it's just fantastic.
It's going to be, and we probably need to keep moving on, but it will be in competition with Lakes Entrance with the swordfish, and I think there's going to be a real tug of war between Lakes Entrance and Portland, isn't there? I mean, if Portland keep producing fish like that,
and very different types of fishing too.
Oh yeah,
so,
absolutely. Yeah, but probably the same crew.
That's
Targeting that, so they're going that way. Let's keep having a look at barrel tuna. Aaron and Nathan had a cracker day the other day down at Portland as well with a beautiful fish. Didn't get the weight of that one, but certainly looks well over 100.
That's bigger than every fish I've ever caught put together.
Absolutely, especially on the trout scene. Let's head local, and Western Port, the Western Entrance, is producing some very nice winter gummy sharks at the moment. Pat Ellaby's a champion when it comes to gummies, and that's a lovely model just there, isn't it?
So he's got the Western Entrance sorted out, hasn't he?
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah,
it's a nice fish.
Gummies are Trevor. Yeah, like I don't know, you don't hear a lot about it
from
a management point of view, but they are just a beautiful species. People love them. Great eating. And we just got a great population. We don't talk about them enough.
Well, I think one of the reasons why we don't talk about them a lot is that the population is doing really well. Our monitoring research on gummy sharks has shown that they've really recovered, and like snapper and King George whiting across the bays, we're in this really fortunate position where the population of Melbourne has grown, but the way that we're managing the waterways and bags and size limits means that those populations are continuing to really kick on. So there are more gummies around now than there have been for 30, 40 years, and that's fantastic.
Let's have a look at what else is coming out of Western Port. The top end of Western Port is, it's now the time, a little bit of warmer water up that top end, and have a look at Daniel Kermey's snapper.
Jeez.
Now, is that blue as nice as the sapphire ring you'd buy your missus?
How good is it?
I mean, have a look at the blue. That is a freshwater, fresh snapper into the waterways, isn't it?
It's a reflection off his top.
It's a great fish. I was up at 5 o'clock this morning at Queenscliff, and I saw boats going out. It was about 3 degrees, and I thought
5 o'clock.
Don't ask me why, but I thought all credit to those people going out at 3 degrees, heading out there fishing, and I'm going.
But now's the time.
Yeah, I mean, when it warms up a bit.
Well, in fairness to them, they're probably thinking, "What the hell am I doing?"
I know they wouldn't be doing that exact same thing.
I tell you, warmer sometimes.
I don't mind admitting, I wore long johns, a beanie, and really, really good gloves to the football on the weekend.
You weren't needed.
It was like it was snowing at the MCG. But I had to watch Rewalt's last game. So anyway,
did you go to the Melbourne game? Did you see that game?
No. Rewalt.
Yeah,
he plays for St Kilda.
I know, but I was segueing nicely onto another game that was on the weekend.
Well, the one that Collingwood smashed him.
Yeah, that was the game. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. That's the game.
Melbourne were in the finals for about 3 hours, weren't they? We're talking fishing here. Sean Ferdier, have a look at the calamari that he's been getting in Western Port as well. Now, Sean has been testing the new Cephia jigs, and he is just dominating in Western Port. If you want to go on a charter, because you haven't got your own boat, and you want to see now, there's a genuine 50 centimetre, genuine 50 centimetre calamari there, the tube on that, and
you can tell it was big. The candles actually fell off the photo.
They fell off the photo.
Exactly. That's just a huge fish.
If you want to get out and catch some of those big models, there is only one person to do it with, and that's Sean, because he's an absolute expert. Now, the number one.
Did you get a bit excited about this
important species in Port Phillip Bay, and this is Western Port, it's flinders. I stuffed up there, but the number one important species in Victoria is the love of my life. Have a look at these cuttlefish. Now, there's reports in Port Phillip Bay as well, but there's just an influx of cuttlefish, and they've gone quiet during winter because I've tried a couple of times and got nothing. But here's a demonstration that there's some beautiful cuttlefish coming into our bays.
I heard of them. A few of them caught off the Stony Point Pier during the week too.
Really? Yeah.
So they're just. For some reason, I don't know whether off the pier.
We've got to get Corey Green in now. I don't know whether Corey's done any work on cuttlefish, but he needs to. There's another bit of funding.
We know enough about squid. Give us the cuttlefish.
Yeah, I mean, he's done some magnificent, but I'd like to know a bit more about cuttlefish, and it's a growing fishery, I reckon. So anyway,
fantastic eating. Yeah,
absolutely. And one more before we take a break. This is a classic. Chris Eames, I think you say it. That is a bass out of Hazelwood Pondage last Sunday.
Now, there's no such thing. There would be, Trav, and you'll be able to answer this. There is no such thing as a small bass in Hazelwood, is there?
No, they're all pretty big.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
come
They've
out-
all been there, what,
Yeah.
at least
Yeah.
how many years?
Yeah, 10 years, yeah.
There's no
least,
such thing as
yeah.
a small bass.
Yeah, and
Wow.
I've got to say that one looks. I know there was a big bass, and there's been a few
Yeah.
caught,
Few,
but
yep.
but I've got to say now the water's a bit colder. That bass looks in a lot better condition than that one that was
Doesn't it?
out of really hot water in the very early
Doesn't
days.
it?
So,
Yeah.
It's good to know.
gee, there might be a bit of an untapped fishery there, just waiting to be, you
Yeah.
know, snagged.
Yeah, there was a part of the pondage that was holding a few bass that people weren't able to fish in. That was a colder water part of the pondage.
Yeah.
But
They've
yeah,
come out
be
to play
interesting
now.
where they are now, those fish, yeah.
If you'd like to send in a pic of your catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ifish.com.au.
Next on Talking Fishing, fisheries news with the chief himself, Travis Dowling, right after this.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wet a line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing.
Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See it down and tackle world today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing.
Live from the studios of Channel 31 Melbourne, it's now time for some very fishy news.
Plenty of news, and we're going to get straight into it. And Travis, feel free to comment on any of it. We're not just going to read from the news
Sure, will do.
tonight. So let's kick it off with Tolondo. Some great news. We did mention it very, very briefly last week because it came out on the day of the show. But an extra 5,000 megalitres of water is being transferred to Tolondo Reservoir, boosting one of Western Victoria's premier trout fishing spots. The allocation builds on the 5,000 megalitres announced earlier this month and is expected to keep the levels in Tolondo to above the minimum level for fisheries until late in 2018. Now, Travis, I've got to say, and I don't think this person gets enough accolades for some of the water management in Victoria, and she's got a very tough portfolio now with police.
Yeah.
But Lisa Neville has just been a champion of some of these waterways. We saw the Blue Rock changes. We saw the initial allocation, I think in 2015 now, of Tolondo, and now 2 lots of another 5,000 megs. And really, Lisa Neville, a lot to thank, for, because fishermen are getting this benefit now in still tough times. I mean, nothing's at 100% out in the Western Districts, but Tolondo's doing all right, isn't it?
Yeah, and look, in terms of the value of that waterway, when you think you've got the Minister for Fisheries, Jaala Pulford, the Minister for Water, Lisa Neville, and the Premier of the state, Daniel Andrews, getting out there and supporting that waterway.
From day one. I think it
Yeah.
was their very first election commitment delivered, and it was it January? I think so. It wasn't long after the election. And all three of them turned up because it was a bloody important thing to do.
Yeah, it's an iconic waterway in that part of the world. Now, Parrambeet and Bullen-Merri, because they're crater lakes, they're pretty drought resistant and they kick through. But the fish that we see coming out of Tolondo and what that means for local communities, particularly Horsham and others, it's just amazing. And it is a beautiful place. And also, all credit to people like Stocky up there and Trevor Holmes.
Yep.
Guys like that have lived and breathed it. They've pushed for more stocking. They've pushed for greater allocation of water, better access for fishers, and some of the trout regs that we'll talk about. Again, using those as well to build a place as a fishery. It is a place, if you want to go and catch a trophy brown trout, anywhere in Australia, Tolondo would be in your top 5.
The media release went on to say, shifting the water to Tolondo is also best practice water management, with Tolondo a more effective storage site heading into summer. Storing the water in Tolondo at current water levels means less evaporation across the Grampians Wimmera Mallee system. Tolondo remains a great place to fish thanks to transfers in recent years supporting water levels and providing security for trout, which have limited tolerance to warm water temperatures. Drawing recreational fishers to the lake attracts valuable tourism, boosting local business and jobs in the region. The Labor government secured an initial 5,000 megalitres allocation in 2015, as I mentioned earlier on, fulfilling a key election commitment, and they're certainly delivering on those commitments. So well done, Lisa Neville. Great water management, and Tolondo lives to fight another few years, I would say, so hopefully longer. Now, it's a big weekend this weekend. The trout festivals are back on, and it is the opening of trout season this weekend.
Yeah, it's huge. So there'll be trout festivals at...
I think we've got a little slide on Eildon first up,
Yeah,
the Goulburn
great.
Fishing
Yep.
Festival.
Yep.
And big event, Trav. Many families will get up there on Saturday.
Absolutely. Look, we expect 400 to 500 people to come up, and what's fantastic about these events is they're all free.
Yep.
So if you're battling a little bit and you're a single mum or a dad, or you just want to get up there and enjoy the day, go up there. There's face painting and jumping castles, and fishing rods being given away, and at Eildon as well, which my kids absolutely love. There's fireworks that evening.
Fireworks at 7 p.m. on Saturday night.
Yeah, and there's
That's not too
live
late.
music in the afternoon as
Yep.
well. So there's everything in there for mums and dads and kids. So even if you're not a mad fisher,
Now, I've got a list of things. Is Rex Hunt going to be there?
Yeah, absolutely. He'll be at Eildon on the Saturday.
On Saturday.
Yep.
You've got a trade expo. You'll be able to help stock live trout.
Yeah.
Hatchery tours. If you ever want to go through an iconic part of Victoria, the trout hatchery up there, and also native fish hatchery, it's your chance to get in the doors, have a look at the ponds and do a proper tour. There'll be guided fishing on Eildon Pondage. You can talk with experts, fireworks, as we mentioned, cooking demonstrations, children's activities including a jumping castle, face painting and balloon tying. Are you on any of those stands?
Yeah, I'm doing the balloon tying.
And prize draws.
Yeah.
So,
And it's Father's Day.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Is it?
Fantastic.
On Saturday or Sunday?
The Sunday.
Yeah, you're a father.
What's the Yeah, it's a weekend.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's Eildon. Now, if you want to live in a different part of the state, west of Melbourne, you can go to a similar festival in Ballarat, Trav.
Yeah, that's right. And so this is the expansion of the Trout Festival. That was one of the Target 1 million election commitments, was to really try and get people excited about trout fishing in Victoria and to send them to one of the festivals. And so people don't have to travel all the way up to Eildon if they live in Western Victoria. Head to beautiful Lake Wendouree at Ballarat. And last year we had a cracking festival, and it'll be even bigger and better this year.
You can also, while you're there, you can have a tour through the Ballarat Fish Acclimatisation Society's trout hatchery. There you go. Tours are every half hour from 10 a.m. So plenty to do in Ballarat on the shoreline of Lake Wendouree. So beautiful place. So a great opportunity to go and celebrate the start of trout season. If you're going out to Goulburn, then head up to the rivers too.
Go and have a fish.
Don't just go to the festival. Go and have a fish as well.
Yeah.
So we'll keep moving along. This was a media release during the week. 4 men from Bendigo are going to receive infringement notices totaling more than $1,400 as a result of a call to 13 Fish. Isn't that good?
Yeah.
Because so many of these busts come from the 13 Fish hotline, don't they?
Yeah, we get so many reports coming in. What's fantastic is that fishers in Victoria are committed towards making sure that we've got great fisheries for the future. And so what we see is when there are people doing the wrong thing, we can't have officers everywhere. Fishers are out there making sure that people are sticking by size and bag limits and making sure that we've got great fisheries for the future. And it's, the support we have from fishing community is great, and our compliance level is really high.
Yeah.
So these guys are really the exception rather than the rule.
but they're getting caught out. This went on to say fisheries officers responded to the call and found the men angling in Bo Peep Creek.
Yeah.
There were fish there, which flows into Lake Barramundi near Ballarat. Despite the closed season for trout and salmon in rivers, the men allegedly had 9 rainbow trout in their possession. Officers seized all the fish on the spot. 2 of the men will receive $476 infringement notices for allegedly taking trout during the closed season, while 3, and there's all the trout, will receive $159 notices for not having a fishing licence. So what
Didn't say the method there, did it? The rod and reel, or was it say net?
I'd say that they'd be rod and reel.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
There you go. So there's still some fools amongst the community, but think they can do the wrong thing, they won't. Now, Trav, a very, very important thing in Port Phillip Bay has been the establishment of the new shellfish reefs.
Yeah.
We're going to take a little video, have a look at a little video of it, and after the video we might have a chat about how that whole project's going. But let's have a look at what's happening in Port Phillip Bay.
These reefs are incredible, creating fish habitat, filtering water. They were a biodiversity hotspot back in the day. These shells behind me, there's around 300 cubic metres. If we weren't recycling these shells, they would be in landfill right now. The bottom line is we need to rebuild the population of the native Angazi oysters. For the oyster reefs, we're approaching it by deploying 180 tonnes of limestone. A 24-metre long barge was towed out by a large tug. That then deploys that limestone into a 30-metre by 10-metre patch of reef base. It means the world to me. There's been a lot of hard work over the last 2 years. For me to be able to bring a habitat back to Port Phillip Bay, I feel like it's a real privilege. A week or so after that, we'll go back and we'll spread oysters over that reef base. And those oysters are grown in the Victorian shellfish hatchery.
The first experiments were testing out what sort of conditions we needed to create to promote survival and growth of baby flat oysters when we put them back out to sea. We actually take mussels and oysters and we spawn them in tanks. It's really satisfying to get to a stage where we're doing this at a meaningful scale. Hope it continues to grow in the future.
The other part of the process is bringing back the mussel reefs. So our plan is to use the recycled shells that are recycled from businesses like Little Creatures in Geelong and also seafood wholesalers to put down a bed of recycled shell and then live mussels on top. It is possible to restore shellfish reefs. It's a habitat we need to restore, and I would encourage people in other jurisdictions to definitely look at doing this as well.
Trev, what was the name of that oyster? The Angasty oyster?
The Angara?
Oh, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Once native to Port Phillip Bay?
Yeah, so we've seen a depletion through different commercial activity that's occurred across the bay. And that, I mean, everyone knows, all these bays, they work as an ecosystem. So if you take out some of these, filter feeding, mollusks from the bay, then you lose a lot of the species that feed on them and predate on them. And these sorts of projects, which have got great support, it's fantastic to see environment groups working with fishing groups, and the Albert Park Angling Club have been absolutely instrumental in pushing this as well and working really strongly on it. To see this recovery occurring in areas that, again, 60, 70 years ago were really healthy systems, and see it coming back, it's just fantastic.
And just having that reef, will the oysters then spread other parts of the bay naturally?
We'd hope, once you build up the biomass, that they'll move over to areas that might have been depleted. But really, a lot of the habitat was destroyed, and that's part of putting that, the stone down there. Is to rebuild that habitat.
Are they a table oyster like Coffin Bay or a Sydney Rock one, or is it that type of thing? Is it
they're not as popular.
Eventually get to a commercial?
Yeah, well, I mean, some are sold commercially at the moment, but they're not as popular as your Pacific oysters or your Sydney Rock oysters. So there
you go. Remarkable project that's going on in Port Phillip Bay as we speak, and only can be a good thing. Up next, product of the week, and plenty more to talk about with Travis Dowling. See you soon on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Product of the week, brought to you by Tackle World.
Talking Fishing.
Now, with trout season just around the corner, we thought for product of the week we'd show you a little something about cod lures. Go figure.
That's it.
But there is a method to the madness. Cod season's going to stay open, and it's time for big cod.
Hang on, not everywhere.
Well,
don't say that. Travis just had a heart attack.
Oh, it's all right. I've got to give him something to sweat on. No, cod season's going to stay open in Lake Eildon, which is probably is the most relevant to us. And it's big cod time, so we thought we'd show you some of the big cod lures on the market and why they've become so popular. Lucky Trelly's on the show, because I wouldn't have a clue in Mornington, to be honest. So here we go. We're going to start with the big spinner baits. Now, these were probably, I'd say, one of the first big cod lures to hit the market, which were readily accepted with open arms. So there's the big spinnerbait. This is a big quad blade type arrangement. It's huge. So just before we talk about that, there's also this little contraption, which is the Mega Mumbler. Now, Charlie, my question to you is, because we've seen big spinnerbaits, we've seen big mumblers, but my question to you, when would you use a mumbler over a spinnerbait and vice versa?
But it had chatterbait on the screen.
Same thing.
Oh, I was just checking.
This
is all new. Imagine if you said, Trelly,
Told you I didn't know anything about it.
Trelly, can I just, and we've got to hurry through this, right? Imagine if you said to your grandfather 40 years ago, should we use a chatterbait or a mumbler on the cod today? What would he have said?
He said, which one's got the dead roselle angle?
Which one do you put on a springer?
They look like Southern Bluefin tuna would go for these things.
They would.
Actually, they're huge. So, but anyway, when would you use one of them?
Well, this one here's got a little bit different purpose. This one's a slightly sort of smaller profile to that one there, Ads. This one actually pushes against that blade on the front. So on the rod tip, it actually gives a really good sort of knock effect, which you can feel it sort of reverberating back through your rod. So in that case, you'd use this one for a slightly smaller profile. You're looking at something that's probably they're bait fishers, as you do with saltwater lures. You try and pick on what they're eating at. So that's why you'd use that one there, as opposed to what you've got here.
Because that is a mammoth. That's a mammoth spinner.
That's right. Exactly. So and what you do with this one's here is your Colorado blade. So you can see that really big spoon there, right? As opposed to what you've got, Ads, which is the willow leaf. So in faster flowing water, you use the willow leaf.
Yep.
If you've got a current pushing against a bank, say Eildon, or you're coming around a point, so that will cut the water a lot less than this one being a big Colorado. This one here, actually, if you cast it out and let it go down, because it's got two of them, if you increase your retrieve rate a little bit, that'll want to pick up through the water column a little bit too. Both of these lures, because the blades are set on top and they're spinning like this and like that, they'll bump over structure. So
pretty good for shallow water.
Yeah, shallow water or even deep water. So if you're dropping them down, so they won't hook up very much.
This is pretty cool because this is a new product, and now we're getting into more of, I guess, the swim bait phenomenon that we're in at the moment.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is the big power bait giant ripple shad. Now ripple shads have been around for a long time, but nothing that we've seen in this size. Now, Trelly, the hardware on that is absolutely brutal because a big cod will sort out anything pretty weak pretty quick.
They do. They're very much saltwater quality as far as that goes, but they run along the lines of sort of some of even your big barramundi and all that sort of thing. So very, very strong hooks. You've got the single on the top, you've got the treble on the bottom. Again, you've got some ribs in there which actually put a vibration through the water, and it depends on the size or the shape of that tail. You get a big flat tail, that'll actually vibrate through the water. Now, if you want that to get a little bit more action to it, you get a little hot rod and just run along the back there and just to give it a bit more action.
Well, you see how heavy that tail is. It's basically hanging under its own weight. Now that's pure and simply designed on a slow roll.
Yes.
You are going to get an insane amount of action. I know it's a big lure, but the amount of action that gives off increases its profile even further, but also gives off that vibration to get any lazy cod's attention.
And works slow like native fish are actually used to, slow moving lures.
So they're the giant ripple shad, get amongst them. Now these give you the option, those ones that we saw rigged, these are the Entice gotcha baits. Now these come unrigged. And the reason for that, it makes them very, very versatile because Eildon is such a unique place where you can fish shallow or deep. You can either fish rock walls or you're fishing pretty intense timber
cliff
structure.
Faces and all sorts,
These lures allow you to do a little bit of everything. You can either rig that weedless and drag them through the most intense structure that Eildon has to offer, or you can rig them loud and proud like those big ripple shads for places maybe you've got those really steep rock walls where not so much structure, those big fish are sitting in really deep big holes, and what these allow you to do is rig them to suit what best suits the conditions on the day.
That's right. So you notice this one's like a redfin style pattern, classic redfin style pattern also. Another thing, when you're rigging these, just remember when you rig them and you drop them on the table or put them in your hand, they shouldn't be bent like this or anything. Rig them so they fall natural and they'll swim natural too. So it's a really good thing to do with that.
Charlie, this one is pretty special.
Yeah, this is mad, these things. Yeah.
This is the Jackal Gantrel, or in this case the Gigantral.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you talk about these because these are something else.
Yeah, well, these things are getting, as lures progress now, they're getting better as far as they just look like little fish.
It's
don't
so
they?
realistic.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. They're just incredible. Now, even to the point where you've got that treble there, that's a little swim behind her or behind here, and the little feather which will make it look like a little tail swimming. And that sort of thing. 3-piece. So you'll actually get a real live type swimming action in them, and you just again cast them out, let them fall through the water column a little bit, and you just pull them back. Practice next to the side of your boat, get them swimming correctly.
Yep.
And then just work them away from your boat. Work them as far as you can away from your boat on those big cliff faces. and
We're
things.
running out of time, Charlie, so I'll quickly fly through this one. The Mega Stump Jumper, we've had them on the show before, but it's very important that we revisit it because I said we are in the swim bait phase, but big cod on tough days, trolling is how you're going to get it done.
Exactly. So if you're trying to get them down really, really deep, I mean, the stump jumper it's a famous lure, but it comes with 3 different bib shapes. I'll get the reflection in the light there a little bit so you can see the size of that one there. And that one clips in over the front of that there. So what you can do is, by using the same toe point, putting the bib on here, that will gather more water on the front, and that'll get that down to about 35 feet.
Wow.
So it'll get it right down in amongst where they are.
Right.
So there you go.
Now, we've got 0 time. We've actually got 20 seconds till the break, so I've been
and
told.
we're still going to cover something.
Yeah.
Have a look at this. I'm not going to say too much about them.
I brought these in simply because, look, these wake baits and surface lures that are sort of like cottage industry stuff
huge.
are harder and hard to get through tackle shops like ours, but we do have some stock at some points. But this is where we're going with these type of things. And you'll see on the front of the fisheries newsletter there, young Josh True from Shepparton, he's got a famous photo of this big cod up at Eildon on one of these. Yeah. And it's just a mad looking lures, and they wake bait surface lures. So keep your eye out for the shops for custom
Trav,
stuff.
just before we throw to a break, so Lake Eildon is remaining open during the cod close season again this year?
Yeah, absolutely. So it is open, so you can continue to fish Lake Eildon all year round, and it is fishing brilliantly for cod.
Yeah. Now that's by a fisheries notice, isn't it? So you have to renew that each year as the CEO of the Victorian Fisheries Authority?
Yeah, and that's to just check that what we're doing is the right thing by the fishery, and we'll continue to monitor it. But all the information we've got at the moment is people are going up there, they're catching a lot of cod. The cod are coming through from our stocking program. There's not a lot of natural recruitment up there, and it's amazing. You go to the tackle shops up there, and it's you picture after picture of big cod. People having a great time.
There you go. Up next, Kramer's Mailbag, including more ridiculous mail on the Warmies boat ramp and the Hobsons Bay Council. Next on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
Make mine a Mornington.
G'day, David Kramer here. I'm a massive fan of the Mazda BT50, having personally driven and owned one for more than 5 years now. And to tell you what, you can't beat them for an all-round great ute and a great tow vehicle. Get into Mornington Mazda before the end of the month and grab yourself a run-out bargain. I made mine a Mornington Mazda.
Make mine a Mornington Mazda.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
All right, let's get into it because it's some serious stuff coming through Mailbag, and we're going to talk to you, Trav, in a minute. But this one here comes through from Wilco. Today.
Wilco?
Colin Wilkinson,
Wilco.
well known on the ABC every Saturday morning giving a fishing report, but he writes this, and this is serious, boys. Just a quick line about launching at the Warmies. I am lucky being a resident of Hobsons Bay, and the Warmies ramp is only 5 minutes away from home. I pay for a yearly pass, which is placed on my car's front windscreen and not on my boat. The so-called launching fee is not to launch a boat, but to park your car. Yes, park your car. And when all parking bays are full, about 50 of them, and you park anywhere but the allocated parking spaces, you will get a nice on-the-spot fine at $75. At times I've had my wife come with me to launch, and she drives home with the car and trailer because of the lack of spaces to park. She then returns to the ramp when I've returned from fishing. Hobsons Bay Council takes thousands of dollars over the snapper season and puts nothing back into the Warmies boat ramp. The sooner the state government takes over our boat ramps on Port Phillip Bay, the better life will be, because this boat ramp is a joke. Now, I've got some questions, boys.
Can I just say-
Travis, don't answer if you can't.
I just want to say two things real quick. Wilco, you're an absolute legend.
Yep.
2, the Hobson's City Council, whatever,
Hobson's Bay City Council.
even your residents think you're a joke.
Yeah. So, I want to ask this. If you pay your annual fee to park, right, is that not a contract that you're entering into with the council to park your car? But what happens when the council doesn't honour their part of the contract in providing a car park for you? Do you get a refund? You know, I mean, if they're not honouring their part of the deal. You know, and so, you know, and I just reckon it's time that recreational fishers challenge this, because if you enter into a contract and you pay your money for a season's pass to park your car and they can't provide it, aren't they breaching their part of the deal?
They're over-allocating their passes to car park.
So in theory, there should be 50 yearly passes only.
Yeah.
So that's all they can house.
And when there's not a car park and you go and park somewhere else in the vicinity and anywhere within Hobson's Bay City Council boundaries, shouldn't you be allowed to park there without copping an on-the-spot fine?
Well, you are paying it. Perhaps down the front.
There's some problems, I tell you, boys. And I tell you, Trav, I know you can't comment, but we're going to have some serious discussions about this, because Port Phillip, we are the laughing stock of the nation in Victoria, because councils and other committees of management charge to park your car at a boat ramp. I guess that's what it is. Let's keep going. Daniel writes in, great show, don't talk about freshwater crayfish. Everyone will be after them. All right.
Whoops.
Trav, you're one of the ones that you don't want people to talk about.
They are fantastic, Daniel.
Good afternoon, boys. Can you please ask Travis about the progress of the new oyster bed reefs being built in Port Phillip Bay? Well, we've done that. We've covered that. Is it possible to get the GPS coordinates?
Yeah, absolutely.
How?
I was about to say that.
That's good. That's what it is. It's about a fish.
Where can they get the GPS coordinates, do you think, Trav?
Well, we should be able to send them out. We can put them up on the fisheries website as well. They might already be up there. I'll check with the team. But absolutely.
Can we get some info if Trelly's Tackle Spectacular will be on again this year?
It certainly will be, November 17th.
I think that was sent in by Deidre.
Thank you very much.
Does Deidre normally come along to that?
She does, actually.
Keep up the good work, keep it bent. From Neil McKenzie, he's the guy in the Yamaha gear at the 4x4 show. Love the book too, whatever that means.
Neil McKenzie.
Yeah, was he at your talk? Was he the bloke that ate the Bardi grub? I don't know. Anyway, apologise. There's a few more mailbags I didn't get to, but we've got to push on because we need to talk to Travis. Now, Travis, some new trout regulations come into effect this weekend?
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Sorry. Yep. I'm being yelled at in my ear.
Sure.
If you'd like to write into Kramer's Mailbag, this is what you do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
We're already over. You think that's
you
slide,
miss
wouldn't you?
one little thing. And they yell. Seriously, I'm going to have an eardrum implant because they yell at me.
Trelly heard that and he doesn't have any earpiece in.
I know.
Yeah, my ears are flapping.
Yeah, I've only got 3 minutes now. They're yelling. Get on with it. New trout regulations come into effect this weekend, Trav?
Yeah, so really exciting. So if you're a trout fisherman out there, what we've tried to do is get the balance between people being able to go out and catch a really good feed, but also protect some of our fish in some of the important rivers so that people that want to go and catch trophy fish can do it. Also, what's really exciting about what we're doing now is in the west of the state, like Lake Eildon we've done with cod, we're going to keep open the Merri and the Hopkins River year round because we don't have trout recruiting in that in those rivers, so people can go and fish there for trout when the other rivers have closed. So some pretty exciting changes.
I'll run through the changes.
Great.
So the first one is introduction of a 25 centimetre minimum size for trout and a reduced bag limit from 5 to 3 for the following orders: the Ovens River, I'm going to have trouble with this. Upstream of Porapunka Bridge, Midamidda River, Midamidda River upstream of Lake Dartmouth, Nariel Creek upstream of Colac Bridge, and the Rubicon River. So, I mean, Travis, basically you're stuffed. Have you ever caught a fish over 25 centimetres in those rivers?
So, well, what's important is the activity. It's the participation.
Well,
of
talking about your personal fishing.
No, it's supporting regional economies by getting out there.
Okay, second one is
Exactly.
introduction of a 45 centimetre minimum size for brown trout and 30 centimetre minimum size for rainbow trout in Tolondo Reservoir. So 45 and 30 are the new size limits, and a reduced bag limit of 5 to 3 trout per day. What was that, Charlie?
He's buggered there.
No, I just go with Stocky. And,
hang on. Have you ever caught one over 45?
Well, one was caught over 45.
Right. So you're stuffed at Tolondo as well. Introduction of a 45 centimetre minimum size for trout in Hepburn Lagoon with a reduced bag limit of 5 to 3 per day.
Have you ever caught a 45 out of Hepburn Lagoon?
Well, again, the takeaway message here is that there's going to be better fishing for a range of Victorians.
So technically speaking, you've never caught a legal trout.
Well, a lot of them very small in the upland.
And the fourth one, removal of the trout closed season for the Hopkins and Merri rivers, so no closed season at all.
No, and that's going to make a lot of people who when it's too rough to go out after the tuna, and they've had enough of the salmon on the beach, they can go and catch some cracking trout.
Your dad would be happy about that. You're still going to be the poacher.
It's gone downhill. Oh dear. Trav, let's change subject quickly because we've got a bit on barramundi and Hazelwood.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you some specific questions.
Sure.
Is there barramundi still in Hazelwood?
There are barramundi.
No, because the keyboard cowboys, they reckon it's all over.
Yeah. No, look, we have lost some of the barramundi in Hazelwood, which which was always disappointing. But the great news is that our guys went in last week, and they estimate there's still 1.5 to 2 tonne of quite large barra in Hazelwood, and it looks like with the temperature of the lake, it's starting to warm up. So we hope that we've hit it's bottomed out in terms of the cold water there, and as we start heading in towards September, it's starting to get warmer, and there's still warmer water coming in through the aquifer. But we're hoping that we're going to have a couple of tonne of really good barramundi in there.
Can I ask you?
Yeah, sure.
Are any approaching 1 metre?
Yeah, well, so we've the information that we've had from our commercial fisher who's been in there assisting us is that there are a number of fish getting near the magic 1 metre mark. So I'm absolutely looking forward to someone posting the first 1 metre barra out of Hazelwood this summer.
There you go. There's some big news coming up when that fishery gets a bit more accessible too. We won't say any more on that until it happens. But coming up next, this week's Hotspots. We'll be back shortly on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worsling's Tackle World Kramer. Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery is your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start.
I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat.
Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now the segment you've all been waiting for.
Hotspots, brought to you by Seamaster Batteries. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
And let's get into the hotspots straight away because there's some exciting fishing. If we get a little break in the weather, and I think it's 18 degrees on Saturday, boys.
Oh, beautiful.
It's going to be nice. So it's going to be fantastic for the trout festivals in Ballarat and Eildon. Get to them if you can. But if you want to get a taste of the saltwater as well, it's all about the calamari at the moment. And there are some monsters, absolute monsters off Queenscliff at the moment. Queenscliff Bite. Genuine 50 to 55 centimetre hoods if you want to go and target some big ones.
Well, Dallas De Silva caught 4 personally, and another bloke off the Queenscliff jetty last night, and he said it was just going gangbusters.
Good size, Trav?
Well, they weren't huge. They weren't huge, but for Dal, it was really good.
Good bait size.
Yeah, it was well done for Dal. I felt good for him.
It's for the same Dallas that's asking you on Facebook during our live feed, because we are live on Facebook.
Sure.
What's your favourite cod lure?
No, it'd be a different Dallas, I reckon. Let's
keep in Port Phillip Bay, and the next hotspot is Rosebud. We're hearing reports. Old mate Tom, he just told us get everyone there to Rosebud because he's going to kill me because there's some big models off, big numbers and big models off Rosebud. Get out off Tookarook and Rosebud Jetty around that area. Some magnificent calamari. If you want to head over to Western Port, the capital of calamari at the moment is the Tired Bank. Plenty of good reports coming from there as well. And boys, the incoming tide, bit of fresh water seems to really bring the big ones on at the moment.
They're huge there at the moment. We saw Sean poking around up there, and they're squid that big. They hang out of the photos.
Yeah, 3.5 size jigs ads.
Yeah, fish
Up
big.
that top
Yeah,
end.
I reckon like most species.
Yeah.
Fish as big as you can, size 4s even.
Yeah.
You got to try and get
Can
these
you
big
not
ones.
promote the black one because we've sold out?
Yeah, no, it's not.
No,
They're not eating black this week.
They're not
though.
eating black.
Photos way fine.
And the other one is Flinders. Let's Flinders Pier. So if you want to do land-based, go there at high tide. If you want to go boat-based, go there anytime and expect to catch some nice cuttlefish while you're fishing for calamari because
Take
the
down a bait
influx
jig
is
with you too.
coming in. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the cracker spots for doing a bait jig, isn't
Yep.
it?
Yep.
Just
Nice
what,
long
2 metres
rod.
under a float?
Yep.
Silver
Nice long
whiting.
surf rod, get it out there.
Yeah, there you go. Let's head west of the state, Portland. Barrel tuna. If you can get out there, get onto the charters. All the charter boys are firing up. Simon Rinaldi, Sharkman's still down there. Plenty of others, but anyway, look them up and get down there because
finally happened.
now it's barrel time, and there's plenty down there. So they're still coming through Port
Fish of a
Mac,
lifetime.
caught all during the week. So and 100 plus kilos. So, and lucky last of the hot spots. If you're heading up to Eildon for the Trout Festival, you'd be mad not to go to the Goulburn River as well. Now, Trav, Goulburn River is now stocked with trout as well.
It is. It gets 10,000 trout a year, and it also has a really good natural recruiting population in there. But I mean, if you don't do a lot of trout fishing, you want to go and throw a rapala or a selter in, or drift a mud-eye down like the Goulburn River. It is it's the place to go to catch a wild trout, and it really fishes really well. So.
And in the last few years, we've seen the water management there really well controlled for this weekend, haven't we? Where it's not flowing at 4 million megalitres an hour or whatever the terms are. It's a steady flow. It's good for fishing and well managed now.
And it's coming back to that conversation before. You mentioned Lisa Neville, but the water authorities are starting to understand a lot more that they've got a social responsibility.
Yeah.
It's not just about irrigation and about power generation. It's actually about looking after the communities, and so they're starting to do that as well. And we've seen that with Tolondo, and we're seeing it with the Goulburn with the festival. It's just fantastic.
Yeah. There you go. There's the hotspots for this weekend, and plenty of other trout streams, of course, because it is opening on Friday midnight. Would I be right in saying?
Yeah.
Friday midnight. You're allowed to fish in Victorian rivers and streams for trout. There you go. Boys, let's change the subject. Southern bluefin tuna. Travis, there's been rumours around that the Commonwealth's trying to get tough on southern bluefin tuna. There's an increased quota coming for Australia, I think.
That's right.
No change to Victorian regulations.
No, look, and there's been some talk about in terms of what's happening with Victoria, and there's, I've picked up a bit of it on social media. We think we've got a really great emerging fishery with southern bluefin tuna, and the way it's managed at the moment with a 2-fish bag limit, we think is within a really sustainable and appropriate level for that fishery, so we're not going to change it. We understand there's some movement at the Commonwealth level where they may look at making an allocation towards the recreational catch across Australia, which is a fantastic move, and really applaud the Commonwealth for that, in meeting our international obligations and looking after the species. But if you're a tuna fisherman in Victoria, just rest assured the fishery we've got at the moment, we're going to have tomorrow, and it's good news that Australia's got a larger allocation now of the tuna that's available, which shows a slight recovery in the stock on the world stage, which is fantastic.
Beautiful. Good to hear. Good news. Let's go back to Eildon now, and boys, I know cod season finishes in 2 days' time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
31st of August.
Yeah, 31st.
Yep. So, but I actually reckon that gets people more excited about Lake Eildon.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's the switch to go. Let's go to Lake Eildon for cod now.
Yeah.
And isn't the next 3 months so exciting in Lake Eildon because not only will we get the winter cod, but we'll also get the yellow belly come on in late October, mid-October, something like that?
Yeah, they'll start to sort of pick up from now on. But like Travis was saying, we don't have big recruitment there in Lake Eildon, but they still probably go through the same activities
Absolutely.
as far as breeding.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to be aggressive that type of thing, which is really good.
They just switch on in October, and they go from October through to March, and there's 200,000 golden perch a year go into Lake Eildon, and that's been occurring now really for the last 15, 16 years. So if you think about that in terms of the numbers of fish in there,
It's huge.
there are a lot of big fish in there, and the golden perch that are in there, I mean, you're struggling to find one under 2 kilos.
That's right.
And they push through that sort of 7-8 kilo mark, and they are thumping fish.
Yeah.
Fantastic to catch.
Yeah, and looking at this weekend, I think the lead up weather-wise is going to be excellent.
Yeah, perfect.
So it should be a really, really good start to the non-season, season Murray cod.
Yeah, absolutely.
Troy, do you find people from Shepparton and even north travel down now to Eildon for their cod fix?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Next 3 months,
absolutely, yeah. Even Copeton, in Queensland. Yeah, they're going up there to fish Murray cod. I mean, it is. It's just becoming just that new thing, like you say. Cod's closing, but cod's opening. In a season when they're going mad and breeding and getting done when you're breeding. You know what you like when you're breeding. Yeah, David. You're a bit silly.
Yes,
you might bite anything.
Is the surface action more prolific this time of year?
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. On
What
top
do I mean
of the
both?
sheets,
I only
below the
asked one
sheets,
question.
wherever. It just happens all over the place.
It's all over the place. The
It's all over the
surface
place,
is good.
Absolutely.
There you go. Get up to Eildon because it is, like we said, the Trout Festival. If you want a feed of trout, cooking demonstrations, fireworks Saturday night, all that sort of stuff, plus some fantastic good cod fishing. That's it for Talking Fishing. We hope you enjoyed the show. All the information from tonight's show will be posted on the Talking Fishing Facebook page tomorrow. And if you want to rewatch any of the segments, the full show is on our page right now. Please enjoy the opening of the trout season and get up to the trout festivals in Ballarat and Eildon if you can, until we see you again next Tuesday on Talking Fishing. Thanks, Trav, by the way.
Yeah.
Please stay safe on the water and enjoy fishing.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking.